are welcome to Breaking Things Down with Seyi Banigbe. Yes, aka BTD with Seyi Banigbe. I'm happy to be here. I know you're happy to see me. And you know that once you get in this space, there is, everything success, success talk, how to get you richer, how to get your mind enhanced and your life enriched. So I'm always happy to do this. And now, I always have an enigma. I always sit with people that would literally just turn your thinking upside up. And I'm excited. Today, I have on the podcast with me someone that will be breaking down today's topic. Before I introduce him, what are we talking about? So today's conversation, is inspired by a lot that has been going on recently. There's been, a 20-something-year-old person that has been in the news and people are asking, where did she get all this money from? What's her job? What's she doing? Why so fly? And you know what? For myself and the team, we said, you know what? If people are not comfortable with this narrative, what should people actually be doing in their 20s? So even more motivation to, have this conversation was, I was speaking with a very young friend of mine, also in her 20s. And, she was telling me, we're discussing the whole, car issue. And she's like, and, she just said in a very melancholy way, I won't lie. And this was her, I won't lie. I mean, yes, people can say this and this about this girl, but she's living the life. I'm looking at my life right now and I'm thinking I have nothing to my name. We're talking about this car, that car. I have nothing to my name and I'm also 20-something. What am I doing in my life? And, this person was actually getting sad. And I'm like, no, you are okay. You are right. You are doing what you're meant to be doing. So today, we'll be talking about what should people actually be doing in their 20s? And I'm so excited to be doing this with the one and only Chris Omoijiade. So Chris is the founder and CEO of TCOS Global, which is a training company. Tell us, what do you do?
Okay, so I like to refer myself. Anyways, good to see you. You're looking glammed up.
Thank you, my love.
Looking glammed up. Where's that from? Where's the necklace
Glam to glam.
Glam to glam.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Omoijiade. Like everyone knows, I'm referred to as a CEO. I'm a multi-potentialite with several God-given expressions. One of that is a training platform, TCOS Global, like you said. Also a minister, and I wear many hats. Also a lawyer, just like you.
Yeah. When we start talking, people will know
that. They'll know the connection.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to dig into this.
Yes.
But you heard me. What should people be doing in their 20s? So the first thing I'm going to ask you, what were you doing in your 20s?
Playing.
Okay, that's all.
Playing.
Playing.
Should I spell it out? Playing. Playing. But talking quite seriously, I think the 20s are the explorative years. So it's those for me. I think it's that season of independence. It's the first taste of independence from the home setup. Dad is not there. Mom is not there. You're probably in university at that point, probably just getting out of university as well. You're probably getting your first job. So for me, particularly speaking, I think for my own 20, it was a mix. It was a potpourri of so much. It was we studied law. So, after the university, we went off to law school. And I think for me, it was really discovering who I really was. Whether I was conscious of that discovery or not was irrelevant. But I think I spent most of my 20s really just trying to explore life. New friendships, new relationships, meet a lot of pretty girls. I'm not
emphasis on pretty girls.
Pretty girls.
Not just any girl.
No. They have to be a standard as beautiful as you. So pretty girls. A lot of partying as well, because that's like you said, it's the first taste of a lot of expressions. People end up tasting the first of whatever fruit, whether you call it forbidden or not, in their 20s.
Girl, are you sure? Let's not open that can of worms, please.
I opened it.
Are you sure people taste it first in their 20s? But
I don't know. In our own era, it was that.
It was 20s.
Maybe he stepped back a few years.
I know.
But at that point in time, we were off our parents' leashes, and then I remember teasing a friend a few months ago about a particular trip I undertook when we were in school in our 20s, and we drove to another state for a party. And when I look back, I'm like,
are you mad?
Was I okay? I left Lagos.
I know.
Got into a vehicle. If I hope my dad is not going to see this. And I drove.
What state was that?
He was like maybe your.
Hi, that's like 4 hours.
Ife. And they just came to us and told us, there's one party. You must attend. You know, you're Unilag boys. You must show. So all of us in the convoy.
At night.
In fact.
At night or daytime?
In fact. I asked myself, why? Why?
You guys were high on something.
We're high on the attention. You think you can be high on the attention?
I remember now, you need like that. Were you in play?
Oh, no. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
You and your friends.
I plead the fifth right now. As a lawyer, I plead the fifth.
We're in the same department, but I knew you more as a party ambassador.
Yes, I mean, I belong to one of the social organizations.
You're a club boy.
Social organizations recognized by the University of Lagos, registered. So yes, I spent my 20s doing that, making a lot of new friends, meeting a lot of people. I had the opportunity of also equally doing quite a lot of traveling in my 20s as well, seeing a lot of new places. So I think, like I would say, my 20s were just exploration.
For me, okay, I mean, very, very not like what yours sounds like. I think when I was in year one, people always said to me, are you in year 5?
Yeah.
You know, I would hear things like, you're so composed.
Yeah, you always put together.
Yeah. I think it was because of my faith. Yeah. I'd always been a very serious Christian.
Thank you for interceding for the rest of us.
So I think that gave me a level. I wasn't getting into school to say, where the boys, where the days? No. So for school, it was really, look, let's get in here, get a degree and get out. Yeah. The world, I mean, I already knew that the world is where the real action is. Yes. This school is just, So, but in my 20s, I graduated. It was honestly, personally, the major thing I was chasing in my 20s was experience. I wanted to gather so much because I had this mindset. I don't know where I got it from. I'm sure it's from so many, church seminars I attended where they said, the more experience you have, work experience, the various kind of projects and things you're able to get your hands on is what forms the foundation for you to, in the next 10 years, 20 years, you are not, it just creates a solid foundation. So I saw my post university period as this is it, Seyi. This is that foundation. We're building it. Get all the experience. I was also chasing. I didn't chase boys, but that was the phase of my life where I said, you know what? So now we are a couple of years to marriage. I felt I finished university. I would want to get married in just a few years. So for me, it was let's get into let's do relationship right.
But don't you also think with genders, it kind of is different because I don't think I know of any of my friends that were in 20s thinking of marriage at that point in time.
For girls, it's different.
For it's different. For us, it was a case of when we're done with school, and again,
money.
Exactly. It was all about money. Yeah. There were ventures on business ideas that I look back and ask myself, what were you thinking? We were testing the waters of everything that would. It was a case of make the money, chase the girls again, make the money. So always used to come back. And again, you remember that because our own university was right in the middle of Lagos.
Yeah, the heart of
So I think it does something to you because when I speak to a lot of people who attend other universities, they obviously might have very varied versions of their 20s.
Yeah, and my first few years after university, actually, I was, this thing was common then. Finish, then go for your master's. No, from my own background, my mom said, this is what they do when they don't want to marry. See, you're not going for any masters. So I was quickly made to realize that I needed to go and marry, but of course I wasn't going to let anyone force me to be with who I didn't want to be. So yes, I was working, getting experience, and I just made sure the standards were high. Like it wasn't playtime for me anymore. I guess, like you said, for a guy, he was still playing. But for me, it was, I know that I'm not in school anymore. Anybody I say yes to right now, before you know it, they will say, Tatam, will you? I mean, she's no more in school, so why can't she get married? I wasn't playing around when it came to boys. And I think I chased money to an extent, but I would say that the purpose, why I was chasing the money was very different. Okay. I was working and also having all my side hustles because I wanted to travel. I wanted to enjoy my life. That was it. Because I remember when I was then going to get married, this, I can never forget this conversation between my husband. He now says, he was always very proud of my entrepreneurial activities. And he would even tell his friends that my wife, she works, my fiance, she works, but she has a business where she travels to bring it there. I'll be proud.
Like
so
that.
we're now getting close. Now say, okay, Seyi, this business that you've been doing. So, the savings. The savings you have saved from I had nothing to show for it. Nothing. Why? Blow it, make it blow it. Yeah. So that was it. And I would say I was chasing extra degrees and qualifications. There was also this thing they gave to us. I believe now they are all they've been set free from that. But in our time it was the more degrees you have, the more certifications,
the more alphabets after your name. And I think it was just an offshoot of our parents' generation.
Yeah,
there was so much premium that was placed on, a lot of degrees.
Yeah,
but like you said, the world has changed dramatically.
I did a master's eventually. I did an MBA in Imperial College, but I was
Imperial, by the way.
So how was Imperial College? It was good. Okay. I mean, when in a sentence, I'll say that going to Imperial College for my master's taught me that it made me start telling people that, you know what, at a point in your life, we try to get foreign education. Yeah. I
agree.
It's just...
I agree.
That's all I'll say.
I agree. I agree.
So I was chasing qualifications and degrees. Was I did Institute of Chartered Secretaries, Institute of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. The whole...
We all did all that.
So that was it.
Yes.
So that was me.
That was all traders.
Yeah. So what do you wish you were doing? I mean, I love your sincerity. You said it was parties, girls, this, that. I mean, now... Yeah.
I feel to a large extent that let me first sincerely speak for myself. I going into the university, I always was an A student all through. Always A student, always been a fan of education. But I feel that for university, those years, I probably could have done a little bit more academically. I sense that I could have changed the trajectory of. I mean, it's not like I did badly, but I could have done a lot. Yeah, I could have. I felt to the degree of what I know.
It didn't reflect your intelligence.
It didn't reflect my intelligence. It didn't in any way. And again, clearly well that universities in Nigeria, the way they do act up. So I think that is number one. Number two is I also...
So wait, so in answering what I asked you, what do you wish you were doing? That means you wish you studied harder in uni.
I wish I did. I honestly wish I studied harder. Even though I did push myself, I wished I just did studied harder.
Because you could have easily gotten a first
I know.
Yeah.
If later on in my life, I will prove that to myself when I went on my master's and did exceptionally well. Then I asked myself that, what happened?
You were just distracted.
You were just distracted. There's quite a lot of distractions. Then secondly, I think, and I know your audience is quite diverse. But in all honesty, you asked me the question. I actually wish I'd spent more time in knowing God. Because I found out that it is much later in life that
I'm an example.
That you now realize that, because one thing I realized in the faith work is that the minute you say to God, I'm ready, you start from nursery one.
So it's like you postponed your training.
Like I should have just started nursery one now.
Yeah.
And now it's like you're like, it's like adult education. So I think learning exactly. I think I could have started my faith work a lot earlier, but I have no regrets, because one thing I realized is that all the mistakes you make, all the things it all adds up. Then number 3, relationships.
Tell me about that.
Relationships. You never really know in those days where you're extremely free as a bird, the impact of some of the things that you say or do to people till much later in life when your paths cross. So I realized subsequently most of what I considered to be play was serious to a lot of other people as well. And you not realize.
An example.
So, for instance, you probably dating somebody, and to you forget the fact that emotions are involved, but you scar people.
This guy, you broke hearts.
I didn't break.
Say you're using English to say you broke girls' hearts.
I did not break.
He's saying things that you're just playing. You were playing.
I was playing games, Scrabble, chess, and all the other board games. But in all honesty, if I look back, I honestly believe that we could have been a lot more humane in some the things we were doing. But relationships, because later in life, I realized how powerful relationships are. And that's one thing I think I did enjoy in my 20s, building the foundation of relationships. Because my nature is such that I'm an extrovert and an introvert, so I'm a mix. So my ability to be able to go out and meet people till today is still paying dividends. Many of the businesses that I do today, many of the organizations are people that I went to school with.
Fantastic.
So I think that's something you should do in your 20s as well. You know, find time to build relationships. It's not really about the height, it's about the depth, you know, because people don't just go out and pick up new friends.
True.
Oftentimes you find out that it's those that you've met, those that you know, that you trust level. So for me, those three things really stand out.
Fantastic.
Academically, should have done a lot more. Faith-wise, should have walked a lot more with God during those days.
And not chase club.
And I don't know what you're talking about. And the third one, and most especially, is that I should have been a lot better in managing relationships.
Yeah, managing girls. Okay,
I don't know.
For me, you know, I'm so in awe of your third point, where you elaborated on building relationships. That's actually what I wish I did better. I wish I wish I was more deliberate about, you know, forming and building relationships. Yes. Because even though I know a lot of people see me on TV, they think, I'm very introverted.
But I'm
quite introverted.
Yes, you are. You let me
understand.
Say you could be.
I can be.
Yeah, you could.
And
be.
I think you know that side of me.
Yes.
Yeah, I can be quite introverted. So I grow older and I realize, okay, a lot of people, like, you see faces and like, I knew this person. I knew this. In fact, we could have even been friends. We were in this room together. Yeah. But I never just saw reason to say hi.
Maybe without sounding too, what word would I use to describe? I think one of the things that really challenged my thinking, and I discovered it much later in life, was when I stumbled on a story that about Bill Clinton, when he was, this is long before he became governor of Arkansas and long before he became POTUS. He said when he was in school, he always had this ambition that he knew that one day he would be president of the United States of America. These days, there were no tabs, no mobile phones, no smart devices. He would go around with in his jacket, a notepad. And every time he meets somebody, he would scribble down information about you, where he met you, what you discussed about, and was very intentional about keeping those journals. I think for me, what really just struck me is that the future really, really is tied to your past.
I tell you, it's so deep.
Yeah, people tend to assume that future always means new. Future sometimes is just a repetition of past.
I tell you.
So maybe because of how we are all wired, I think that it goes down to wiring as well.
And you know one thing I realized? As you grow older, people become so guarded.
Yes.
The way naturally. You make friends when you're young, all of you have nothing, you're driving your parents' cars.
I mean, you have friends, and I have friends that are doing extremely well. A friend of mine, this is a real story. I was driving in Ikoyi, and his convoy, you know the friend. You know the friend. His convoy wanted to run my car off the road. So I told it, so my driver, I told him, okay, move. My driver moved. Only for me to realize that I moved, I picked up my phone and I called him. I said, whoa.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I mean, that's what youth gives you.
Yeah, exactly. If I meet the gentleman I just spoke about now, it'll be a lot more difficult.
Yes.
But we've done everything together. And that's why the 20s, I think, are the most important, because there's purity of intention.
Nobody's measuring
by there are no standards.
It's just good. And guys are even better. That's my guy, chairman, my guy.
Straight. So for me, that is the beautiful part about 20s. Trust is built easier. Because once you get into your 30s and 40s and in the wider society, like, everybody, once they get,
what do they want?
Yes, once they get beaten or they get bruised by life,
they don't trust.
They don't trust anymore. They raise the defenses. But the people that break down those defenses are those that come all the way back. I mean, there's a former president, late president of this country. When I read one of his autobiographies, he would mention that when he became president, because that office obviously attracts everybody, if you know what I mean.
Course, yeah.
He said there was one gentleman that he always held in very high esteem, because that was the only person that could tell him the truth without wanting something in return. And his friend, they went to school together, was a lecturer in one of the universities in the north. So you know what this gentleman, he will call him up and say, I want to speak to you. This gentleman will insist and say, don't buy my tickets, don't put me in any flashy hotel, I'm not even staying in the villa, you're my friend, I will come to Abuja. They will sit down outside and discuss.
And then tell me that one day he calls him to say, you know what, my kid needs to work in One time he has done it because
But the irony is on this particular relationship, this man never even asked.
he will never ask. But sometimes life happens,
life happens.
and you have to ask.
Yeah.
But
So
the
he
relationship is there.
Is there. So I mean, the lesson I could observe from it is the fact that clearly there will be people that you will need much later in life who can tell you the truth.
You need those people. You need those people.
It doesn't care whether you're the president, the governor, the bank CEO. They'll look in your face and call you by your first name, by the nickname that you no longer want to bear.
Yes.
They will tell it to you. And it's only in the 20s. Only in the 20s that you can find
I feel when I meet people that are so overly conscious of networking, when they're older and are running from pillar to post. Oh, I need to be at this event. Oh, I need to... I feel it's people that lost out on networking.
A lot of them didn't lose out when they were young.
Yeah.
They didn't
make friends.
They didn't make friends.
I won't lie. I'm so grateful that even though I was introverted, I was very involved in my campus fellowship.
Yes, you were.
So that
you invited me a few times.
Oh, yes. And you tell me when I come for your party, you will come for my fellowship. Look at you. But, I'm so grateful that always pushed me out. I was forced to, meet people because we were in fellowship. We'll have to do a lot of, communal stuff together. I'll say that's my saving grace, so that I know people right now. If not,
relationships. I mean, one of my books, I speak about relationships. And
he's an author, in fact, of many books.
Yes, I thank God for the Lord that gives you the foundation to write. But one of the things I realize is that the success of a lot of people that you admire, beneath all the back and forth and politicking, is relationships.
This thing is deep because
it is deep.
Someone that was your person when you had almost nothing, you were hustling.
Yes,
there's nothing like when you now make it.
And I think a lot of folks really need to even start it out a lot earlier. I feel that the way the world is moving at such an acceleration.
It helps them, the digital.
Yes, it's such.
Will take me to my next question. Actually, what do you, if you were in your 20s now? How would you approach it? Because these guys are enjoying
more relationships.
Digital tech.
Digital tech. I mean, we will only be able to interpret it from the lenses of where we're coming from. But if I had to get a time machine, go back into time, I have an opportunity to rewrite my 20s. I already mentioned a few that I would do.
This kind of time.
I'll be in this kind of time, digital age. I would leverage. Use technology in a way that I would build. I would take a lot more risk.
What do you mean by you will build?
So, for instance, I realized that I was blessed to have an entrepreneurial father. And you may not remember, but
your Chinese restaurant.
My restaurant. I even had one, even the faculty. In the students. So I've always had that. And when I look back, I realize that it is the risk that you take, the more failures that determine the level of the success. We tend to, in our 20s, feel that it's not yet time. I started early. I would do more.
Because your parents.
Yes, I would do a lot more. I would do a lot more. Because then my younger self realized that everything adds up. A friend of mine sent me a complimentary card of my restaurant. He says he's living in the UK. He sent it to me 2 days ago and I put it up my status up there. He says, look at the way you put the executive director. You really feel it. You even know how to pronounce
of the rice selling
business. But thinking about it is the 20s really would be for
and you can
build
make
and
mistakes
leverage.
without being bothered. How you fall,
exactly.
Whether you fall.
How badly you fall.
They're no
stand
kids.
up and they're no kids. But much later in life, you don't have that luxury.
You're paying school fees.
Thank you very much. You make. Another thing again in my 20s is that I'm also very conscious money-wise. I would also equally understand early enough about the importance of money.
So you train yourself on how to make money and multiply money.
Financial discipline. Something that we took for granted because why? At that point in time, maybe daddy is helping out, you're getting allowances, you're doing business, you're making a little bit of money.
No, they didn't give me allowance once I graduated.
After that, they left us. But what I mean in essence is that there would have been a need for you to learn discipline of savings, disciplines of delayed gratification, discipline of investment. Imagine if there and then, I remember some of the shares I bought when I was in law school then of Transcorp now, and you look at the share price today, there are some disciplines that we could have learned in our 20s.
That would have made even richer by now.
A lot
this is like about 20 years.
Yes, 20 years. But at the point in time that we were there, it was a case, like you said, it was a consumer mindset and a spending mindset of you make money, you just want to spend it. You make money, you just want to spend it.
If I were in my 20s now, I will not joke with AI. I won't joke with it. I'm laid back now because I'm like, I always just tell my children, make sure you are learning this thing, so that when I need AI support, at least. But I would joke with AI. I would not joke with social media, because this thing we're saying about relationship,
yes,
it's so easy for them because they're following each other,
yes.
They're interacting. Babe, you look nice. Hey, I like your shoes. You're top of mind.
We didn't have that.
We didn't have that.
I have to come and stand in front of the hostel to share tracts. 4 o'clock when the
tracts for party.
When the hostels will open by 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
They won't let me in.
I know.
And by 10 o'clock, they were chasing us out.
Yeah, I know.
I couldn't even send a message to say I'm outside.
Yeah.
Different era. Different
but
time.
yeah, so I think for me, it's the technology.
Oh.
And if I were in my 20s at this time, I would actually start a lot more businesses, when at this age.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would actually explore tech. So if you know me well right now, tech is not on my radar when it comes to, making money or multiplying money, because I'm like, my brain is just not that receptive anymore.
Yes.
I'm not so open to, but at that age where you're
at that age, you should be everything, because
you got to learn it.
Eager to explore. If I have to go back to 20s, I'll learn. I will soak it all up in.
I'll explore. Money.
Oh my.
I'll be virtual.
And I'll save
everything.
the money.
Yeah,
and I'll save the money. I won't spend it the way I did. I'll save the money.
Yes, I mean 20s. I think they're the golden years.
Yeah.
And any wise person wouldn't joke with them.
Not at all.
At all, because I think they make or mar you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think kind of. Let's not be too harsh on them, because even up to your 30s, for me, the age that I probably know that you can no longer make. I mean, it's personal. I think at the 40 age, at the 40-point mark,
you can no longer.
I feel that mistakes are no longer permissible. They won't allow you.
Calm down. Have you heard of Mr. KFC that started at 65? No.
I said mistakes.
The fact that we are doing this episode.
I said mistakes. Because what? Let me
please,
put
disclaimer. You can still make it in your 50s.
I didn't say you can't
60s.
make it. I said about mistakes.
But it's okay if that's your mantra.
No, funny enough, it's my mantra. Okay. Yeah, and I own it.
Please.
Because you know why? I say it from a personal perspective. Because in your 20s, there's an excuse that you're very young, you're viral. In your 30s, they still give you a little bit of leeway.
But once you're 40-something,
you're an ancestor. But when ancestors start making mistakes, you're not forgiving anymore. There's no fallback. 20s, you still have fallback. 30s, there's still a few people that will say he's still trying to walk. By 40, they're like, by 40, the average student or the average individual who would have graduated would have been out of school for over 20-something years. So meaning you have 20-something years of life experience. What did you do with it?
Yeah, but it's okay. Some people are late starters.
Some people are very late starters.
Some people build and say, you know what? I don't like the way it's looking. I'm going to scatter it and start again.
And it's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay.
It's fine.
Because the rule of life is to run on your own track.
Yes. So, but I mean, I also respect you saying for you 40, there are just some things I won't be won't be found on me, which is
because
fine.
Responsibilities are there. You have kids, you have a family. When you're single in your 20s, early 30s, any mistake you make, there's no boomerang.
I know,
but every mistake no ripple effect. Or any mistake you make right now, there's a ripple effect.
I know, but it's okay. If you're 40-something, 50-something, 60-something,
hang in there,
70-something,
hang in there,
and you're watching.
There's hope for a tree cut down.
I know, but you can always start again.
Thank
you so much. It's been so good doing this with you. Quite juicy.
Absolutely.
I think it hits different when you're doing this with someone that you've known from way.
They tend to bully you.
Very funny, very funny. But thanks, and I'm so proud of you. I have to say that.
Oh, I am too as well.
So proud of you. What you're doing on leadership, the books. Oh my gosh, I bought a couple of them. I'm like, because I just thought of that Chris in uni. I didn't know this dude was this smart now. Like, where did he hide all this?
We're trying to buy the Lamborghini.
I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you.
Thanks for
breaking things down.
Thank you.
So Guys, don't forget, if you've been watching and you have not yet hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Join this family. Yes, this family, we love success. We talk success. We breathe success. And there's never a dull or empty conversation on breaking things down with Seyi Banigbe. It's been so good.
Thank you.
You know, chopping things up with Chris. And I think this particular episode needs to be forwarded to anyone that you know that is between the age of, I'd say, 15 and 30.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, of course, some people are watching it and then they're able to learn from it to tell people in your 20s do this. But I think we should let's utilize the share button and share. Let these people hear, because some people don't know.
Hard work pays.
Yeah,
dedication
some people are
pays.
making sincere mistakes. They don't know better. And people need to also know that in your 20s, nobody's expecting you to be driving a luxury car. Nobody's expecting you to always be abroad on holidays.
Designer outfits.
In fact, you are suspect when you're doing those things.
Yes.
Where did you get the money from? I mean, except you have some kind of surname.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not, if you're not Dangote's kid or something.
Yeah, but I think all in all, I think on the final note, as regards that, I honestly believe to a large extent that I don't allow society force their rules on you. Don't let society define the borders of
social media is so fake.
Social media is so fickle.
Yeah.
So you should be old enough to kind of define what it is you want to make out of life and what success truly means to you. Yeah. And again, remember, it's not about how fast. Life is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, and let's remember, I beg you guys, I say this because I have a lot of young friends. Social media is so fake.
It is.
You know, anybody can make up anything.
I mean, I remember before this podcast, you and I had spoken, and I said, I remember when we were in 20s, there used to be popular soft sell magazines that would talk about 20 richest, 10, 40 biggest boys on the island, 25. I can't see none of them anymore. I can't see none of them anymore.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I can't see none of them. That particular magazine would sell out.
Even till now, it's on social media now.
Yeah, but now it's
the top 10,
the top 20, top 10, top 10. I guarantee.
Decide in yourself that in the next 5-10 years, you will be top 10.
Yes.
You don't have to
You don't have to. And again, remember, not everybody has different time
And you don't
zones.
even have to be top 10 to be successful.
Exactly. Run your race.
Everybody's definition of success is so different.
So different. Run your race. Stick within your own time.
Your own definition of success can be to have a very beautiful farm.
Yes.
Where you are growing maize.
Yes.
And you are supplying different companies. The companies that make cereal.
I agree.
And that's okay. That's a dream, a beautiful one. Yeah. It might not look, your social media page won't look so glamorous when you have that sort of dream. But guess what? You are satisfied. You are paying your bills. You are not stealing. You have money to buy your things. You're not begging people. You are not making phone calls or having to sell parts of your body to do stuff. So,
I agree. So I'm just going to encourage everyone out there. Just ensure you stick within your own time.
Yeah.
Every man has his own time allocated and allotted to him.
Yeah.
Stick and run with it.
And don't underestimate the power of being happy.
Please, Seyi, by the way, let me add this point, please. And I hope they're going to put this part. It is also important in your 20s, please, when I spoke about relationship, that you do not look down on anybody. There is a fallacy that you can run with where, to a large extent, you believe that you've seen the end from the beginning. I assure you, life comes with so many twists and turns on its journey. The one person that you've ignored, one person that you totally nasty to, one person you totally downgraded.
He doesn't have a car.
Life always has a joker up its sleeve. So in your 20s, as much as you don't be nasty to people, don't look down on people. Even your
toasters, please let me bring it now from the female perspective.
Even your toasters.
A lot of you guys.
Drop some of them nicely.
You get.
You know, there's some way. I remember those days. You would probably toast a girl, and there were some that by the time they would want to say no, they'll say no in such kindness that you're happy you had the opportunity to have toasted.
No, they're so kind.
They're kind. Yeah, and and you're friends with them. I have a particular friend. I mean, we are all still very much friends. I remember. I mean, like toasted. The no was no, but the no never stopped the friendship.
Yes, and that's how it should be.
If you end up realizing you do that, there's a tendency that is going to wait for you further down the road.
Yeah. I honestly don't endorse being nasty to people, to men, because they toasted you. no, just no, thank you. I can't date you. Finish.
Yeah.
But the problem is music videos, movies. They teach them how to get. I don't know where I learned that thing from, but from a young age, I always had my mantra was, I can't date you, but we can be friends.
Yeah.
I can't date you, but we can. And I know what some of those friendships, how they benefited me
dividends,
till today.
Huge dividends.
You don't have to open your legs for people to help you.
The third class,
be kind and they will help you.
Yes,
Men.
The third class gentleman that the rest of the class laughed at because he didn't have a car, he was walking around school, may turn around and be the bank CEO the next day. So we all have to be extremely careful. So in my 20s, I think I grew up just knowing fully well that, you know what, be nice to everyone. That's the long and short. Be nice to everyone. It takes nothing to be nice.
Thank you so much. We've got to run. Remember to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on all of our podcast platforms and drop a review. Guys, this shouldn't be one way. Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said or that Chris has said? We're all going to be in the comments and we'll be responding, and we want to keep this conversation going. See you in the next episode. Toodles. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. I'm so happy you're here. Let's become family. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for all the yummy stuff we have for you on this channel. Thank you.